Hey everybody, welcome to the Dynasty Pulse. I am bigz. He is Grindberg. We are here with you. We're doing a Scott Fishbowl mock draft. If you remember, 2 episodes ago, Scott Fish joined the program, and that was pretty cool. Button pushing. Need to get a producer. Oh yeah, that's right. We have one. So here's what we're doing. We're about to get this mock draft kicked off, and we're mocking Scott Fishbowl 14. There's a lot of controversy in the Twitter space about Scott Fishbowl mock drafts and how every time I do a mock draft and then I go to the live event, it's different. And yeah, but what we're doing here is not picking our perfect team. We are picking or creating the tiers. So that's TIERS, not TEARS, like Canadians cry. It's we are creating tiers with which we can pivot on and off players if they've fallen, and I'm going to draft them. And to discuss all that, first of all we have Schultzy, but also we have a fantastic special guest today. He is from Yards Per. Well, I'll let you introduce him. Schultzy, let's get Alex in here.
Welcome. Yes, I'm super happy that we get to have Alex on here. He is the big boss man over at Yards Per Fantasy, and without Yards Per Fantasy, I'm not doing anything in the fantasy space. He let me and my dumbass best friend Dennis. Shout out to Dennis, and he's in our mock
What a
tonight.
Dumbass!
Yeah, he is a big dumbass. I love him. Alex let 2 dumbasses do a podcast on his platform, and hell yeah, he's the man. I've learned a ton from him. He knows his stuff, and I'm super glad he's here.
Welcome, Alex. Why don't you tell everybody on top of what our producer Schultzy just said? Tell us a little about yourself, what you do, and your platform, because I know it has a big stage, and we want to hear more about it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys having me on. I love Scott Fishbowl season. I kind of feel like it's the unofficial kickoff of the fantasy football drafting season. I can't believe it's time already. But yeah, you can find my stuff you can find me on Twitter at @A_JohnsonFF. All my content resides at yardsperfantasy.com. Articles on the website, videos, podcasts on the Yards for Fantasy YouTube channel and the podcast feed. I mean, it's not just me. We've got an awesome crew over there. I'm excited for a great summer of drafting, great season of fantasy football. It's right around the corner.
Let me ask you this: if you are the boss of Yards Per, can you get Dave on the show?
Absolutely.
Tell Dave, order him. I am your boss. You will go on the Dynasty Pulse with those guys.
We'll get whoever you want.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
We should have a Yards Per full show.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Hey, we did the perfect time to pump the personalized pods there real quick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's get this sleeper draft started here, Schultzy. Let's bring up the board and let's get going. Let's tell everybody where we're positioned. I think you're the number 1 overall pick, so I'm just going to go into the chat and let everybody know that we're going to get started right now. And then, Schultzy, without further ado, let's go.
All right. I think bigz is going to have to start it.
Okay.
Am I? I'm not the one that originated it.
Okay, I will start the draft now.
Turn off the...
And
it was Grindberg.
Turn off the chime.
It's off. All right, Schultzy, you're on the board right now, and you're going with the 101 strategy. Is that your position in the Scott Fishbowl this year?
It is, yes. I wanted to take the one here to replicate my draft position, and I'm going to be taking Josh Allen. I think it's a no-brainer, especially with the scoring, the QB rushing stuff. No questions here on my end.
All right. So, Alex, where are you positioned? Was that you that this went? Yes, it was, right?
The 103, yeah. I got the 103.
So Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question about Lamar Jackson because that's a pretty bold pick, based off of ADP and stuff like that. Obviously, his rushing upside and based off the scoring right now, I think that I think he finished as the overall 3 quarterback last year in the Fishbowl scoring within this format. So I don't see that being a bad pick. What are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson and why did you go there?
Yeah, I mean, Lamar, he gives you those, the rushing upside, he gives you that floor.
Why
with
is
the
everything
rushing.
timing out? Is that just because Sleeper sucks?
Probably. Or
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it does time out sometimes.
Time's up. Okay, pause it. Pause this
All right.
stupid thing. Jane, get me off of it. Okay. I
can't pause this. How do I do it?
Sorry, everybody.
Way to go,
man.
Well, let's talk about Lamar Jackson while I do this.
Yeah, let Alex keep going on Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, he's there every year with his rushing. In a super flex draft, especially like this, I just like to start with a guy that I can rely on, and gives me that high floor with plus the high ceiling that you need to win, in a tournament like this. And then I can take my swings on guys later in the draft. I want that safe choice with the 103, and it really comes down to either Hurts. I'd be pretty happy with Hurts as well. It's kind of like a coin flip. But yeah, I went with Lamar.
I took Lamar last year with my first pick at the 6, and he's, winning the MVP. That'll boost up your ADP a little bit. And indicators are he's going to have an even bigger year this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think did Scott pull back on the passing scoring a little bit in this year?
He did with it's 1 point for every 50 yards, not 25 yards.
Right. So I feel like these rushing quarterbacks are a little bit more important to get these rushing quarterbacks, at least for my strategy.
Which is why I took Anthony Richardson at the 7.
Yeah. After I picked the 103, I was kind of wishing I'd taken more like a mid to late first round pick so I could take an Anthony Richardson or even like a Kyler Murray, just a little cheaper than where I got Lamar. With that same, same skill set, same upside.
When I originally chose my division, I chose the 12, and then my division got contracted, and I was automatically put in the 7. So, I'm adjusting accordingly, just like I will do at the draft.
Wait, what's your new position, bigz?
The 7.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize if that was your actual one. I must have missed that.
Yeah, but I'm kind of familiar with the middle because I was at the 6 last year, and I keep wanting that back end, especially like doubling up and then getting the 3rd round reversal. I love those last 3 spots. Fire content, boys. Let's keep it going. Keep it moving. Mace with the CJ Stroud and Brock Purdy stack at the turn. That's not too shabby. CJ Stroud looking like a draft faller to the 12.
Now, look at this. We got a run here. Got a lot of running backs going off the board because of the scoring upside here. I just think that's going to be one of the focuses here especially in the first couple rounds here. But Barkley going there. What are you guys' thoughts on Barkley this year? Do you think he's going to have that elite, top 5 upside? I'm going to ask Alex that question.
Yeah, I think the upside is there. I don't know if he's going to quite reach that. He's going to lose some touchdowns. Jalen Hurts in the red zone. How much receiving upside does he have? Jalen Hurts is going to take off and run with it instead of checking it down. We'll see. But he's still, elite skill set, great offense, good offensive line. They're going to score a lot of points, and there's going to be a lot of fantasy scoring opportunities for him. So I'd say he probably safely, in the top 7 is where I would put him.
Okay. Now we see our first stack here of elite tierness. We got the Mahomes Kelsey stack. Last year in the fishbowl, that would have been unheard of, but this year it's coming in here. Like with the scoring in the Scott Fishbowl with the tight ends, we looked at last year's. I saw an article yesterday from Ryan Heath from Fantasy Points, and he just outlined kind of how these guys lined up last year, and the highest scorer was Travis Kelce at 22.1 fantasy points per game, and that's pretty much quite a bit under the average. So with these tight ends, they're going pretty early. So what are your guys' strategy? Bigz, you went for a tight end early here. What was your strategy behind that? And now there's a run.
So right now I am essentially. Did you take? Okay. Right. Basically. Oh, you're gonna do it, aren't you? Damn it. I'm just taking ADP fallers at the moment, and so in this mock, I am testing the strategy of taking guys after they fall out of their ADP based on the going for two Scott Fishbowl mocks ADPs. So Laporta has been ADP 12. I had an opportunity to take him at the what is that, the 18th pick, 17th or 18th pick, and I thought that was pretty good value, especially with the tight end premium. Give him 100 plus targets, and I think he's going to do well in the fishbowl. Plus the tight end first down thing. But I did want to like backtrack a little bit and ask Alex, talking about Saquon. You do not have any reservations about the injury history, plus the fact that he's 27 years old, plus the fact that he's playing with Jalen Hurts. You don't see that as kind of like a bunch of red flags all bunched together?
Not necessarily. No, I mean the injury history. I mean he would certainly an issue, but in a tournament like this in particular, I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take the swing.
Okay.
On a guy like Barkley, we just bet on the talent and hope it sticks.
There you go.
Schultzy, you got your guy there at the end of the turn there on the second round. You got your Evan Engram, and you're pretty high on him. Like he's the fifth tight end off the board here.
Yep.
Tight end 2 finished last year. Give us your outtake on Evan Engram. Obviously, you're high on him. You're taking him there. Do you think that's a reach?
No, I mean, he's been coming off around tight end 7 as pretty average. I just think when you look at the number of targets he's still going to get, and with the tight end premium on receptions and first downs, Engram is going to eat in that department. I've talked a bazillion times over about the speed on the outside with Brian Thomas and Gabe Davis are only going to open up things for Kirk and Engram. And Engram would have been the 10th overall player in this scoring last year. And I just took him as the 24th player. So I think that's some ADP value. Not saying he's going to be 10th again, but I still feel good about him being a top 24 overall player in this scoring.
Good stuff. Okay, Bigz, I got a question for you now. Coming in here, you got Anthony Richardson, good position there. I love his outlook. You know that already. You got Laporta and then Dak Prescott. What a good value there in the third round. I was contemplating taking him over Kincaid, but I saw the run of tight ends go. Tell me a little bit more about your stack here. Well, no, your quarterbacks here, because that's unlike you from what I gather off of you from most of your strategy. So is it just because Dak was such a great value?
Correct. Like I said, I'm looking at guys falling off of their ADP according to the going for 2.com's SFB 14 mock draft ADPs, and I am a huge Dak Prescott lover. He's probably my favorite value quarterback in all of fantasy football at this point for 2024. And he was right there. He was an ADP value, so you got to shoot your shot.
All right, I love that pick there. You got the double upside here there, Alex, with the Lamar Jackson and Jayden Daniels situation. That, with the Justin Jefferson, I do like your start here. Tell me a little bit about Jayden Daniels and what you think his upside is in 2024. Do you think he could crack the top 10? Do you think that is in his realm of opportunity? Do
you remember RG3's rookie season?
People are really comparing that as the potential there.
that's the upside. I don't know if that's where he's going to get, but that's a ceiling play, and I think he can. I think he can get there. He's got weapons, and as he kind of learns the NFL game, he adapts to the NFL game. He's going to rely on his legs quite a bit, which as fantasy gamers, that's money for us. Huge upside. Definitely, I think his floor is like a high end QB2.
Yeah,
and I like top 5.
Absolutely. I'm right on there with you. Now, tell us about your next pick here, because now you're on the clock and you got a wide receiver, 2 quarterbacks, pretty solid start there with Jefferson, Lamar, and Jayden Daniels. What's going through your mind right now? What are you thinking about doing?
I am looking at going to another wide receiver. I think that's what we're gonna do here.
Don't take mine. Don't take mine.
No, don't take yours. Who's your
Take
guy?
him. Do it. Come on,
I'm gonna do it.
You
I'm gonna
won't.
do it. Let's go. I'm going back and forth with a few guys here. I'm gonna go Drake London.
Okay, so Drake London and Biggs' guy slid through the cracks here, and I don't think he's gonna divulge up until his pick right now, because I think the people that are listening right now, the 5 that are live, are probably within this draft. And I don't think Biggs wants to divulge who his wide receiver is going to be, but it's glowing right now.
Let's just say it starts with a B and ends in Randon Aiyuk. No, I'm just kidding.
No, dude, I think we might have the 4th round Shaheed pick coming in.
Oh no. No, I don't think that's the case. I think if you listen to our fantasy forecast wide receiver hot takes there, Schultzy, it's clear as day who Biggs is circling right now.
Day.
Dude, that episode's not even out yet. You can't just do that to the people.
We're predicting the future. We're predicting the forecast, actually, and that's
he was there. He lasted. He fell all the way.
All the way to you. All right. I'm really excited about my turn here, because I don't have anything for quarterback and I'm in rough shape.
I'm gonna give shout out here to my boy Dennis, because he took that Murray and Harrison stack, and he is really stupid. The stupidest is stupid. But I love the swing at the Arizona stack. Ooh, and he's coming up again.
There is some really nice running backs along the board here.
Ooh, we got a triple running back team here.
Yeah, hasn't started.
That's Brocal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I see you. I think
I'm gonna get sniped here.
What are you thinking, Grindberg?
Well, I'm hoping that I can get the last real elite quarterback, I think, in my opinion, within right now. And I'm not talking about Caleb Williams.
You're talking about Jared Goff, hashtag Nevada boys.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jared Goff, and I think Caleb Williams has got potential, but I'm really hoping that Brocal lets him slide to me. But I'm not convinced it's going to happen with 3 running backs on his squad. I'm assuming he's going to pick Jared Goff, and there it is. Okay, so the prediction:
best football player ever born in Nevada.
So now
Las
for
Vegas,
me,
Nevada, my favorite.
No, Novato, not Nevada.
All right, so now it needs to switch tones.
Oh, are you going another tight end?
Maybe sepia.
How much time do I have? Oh, I'm gonna have to
hurry up.
I went with Caleb Williams.
You went with Leb?
I did.
All right.
I got to take a shot. He's surrounded by talent, and he's got the opportunity to thrive as a rookie. And then I'm gonna follow it up with a guy that I think is gonna be another really, really strong showing in 2024. A healthy Cooper Kupp coming back. They bring in Blake Corum to really solidify that run game as a backup and a really good backup to Kyron Williams, who I think is going to get the steam there, but I think he's going to really, have that offensive input where they're not going to skip a beat, regardless who's on the field in 2024. And Matthew Stafford, as long as he can stay healthy, I think that has positioned him well to really thrive. He has that potential to be a top 12 quarterback again. And, I'm going to do that with Caleb Williams. I'm going to go with some upside, and I'm going to go with some stability at the quarterback position there.
I like that play from the 11 spot too, because after Murray, I don't think I would take a quarterback in the first round. So I think from the 11 spot, and then at the turn, I'm doubling up at position talent.
I think
you were able to still knock out quarterback pretty well.
Yeah, I think I probably would have reconsidered now that I saw where tight end was. I probably would have reconsidered taking Kincaid there and taking Dak Prescott instead, because I think that just makes it a bit stronger if I could still get Stafford later. With the tight ends that are still on the board right now, there's still Brock Bowers there. There's still David Njoku. Did Ferguson go? Yeah, he went already. So that's another tight end I really have my eye on this year, is Jake Ferguson, who just went. And that would have been a play I would have been easily on board with there instead of Williams or whatever. So I think in retrospect, my Kincaid pick might have been just a little bit of a reach, but I like where my quarterbacks are at now at this stage. Whose team right now at this stage of the game do you see as the biggest contender?
Mine. I'm the draft winner, the mock winner, of course.
There it is.
I do want to just point out real quick, I'm not a huge Brandon Aiyuk stan, but his ADP is he's sitting right at, where'd it go? ADP 44, and I got him in the 50s, so I like that drop.
Oh, totally.
He was the best value there.
You think he's a 49er for the season?
It says I saw today that they are working on they're working on the contract right now. So I think so. Would I prefer him in Washington? Absolutely. But it looks like they're going to get something done, and he's talented. So you gotta. I'm just going with value right now.
You think he's better off in Washington?
I like the pairing of him and Jayden, just knowing each other. Also the stuff that he can do. Terry McLaurin is a traditional wide receiver. I think Brandon Aiyuk can do a little bit more than he can. So if he's going to come in and take over, I think he could do it in Washington. Plus, he knows Adam Peters really, really well. So, and Peters knows him very well.
That's true.
All right, so Schultzy, triple wide receivers here. You let Drake London, Chris Olave slide. You had the option to pick them above Davante Adams. So I want to get your take on that one real quick.
Targets. There you go. Name of the game. The dude is going to get a bazillion targets, and all he does is catches about 80% of them every freaking year. So what's going to change?
Okay. I got a question for you now. You're going wide receiver heavy in a format that is going to be really, giving medals to running backs, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be achieving really highly. And you don't even have a running back right now. So what's your strategy now coming out of this? Because the running backs are starting to fall. We got a really good value in Rashad White I saw here, and Devontae Chan. I'm surprised these guys have fell that much, considering the scoring in this format. So what's your strategy now when you're seeing this coming down?
So I will say my strategy for this mock, this is my first mock I've done since claiming a one spot. And my my dream start is Allen, Engram, Trevor, like I did with my fourth pick being best available position at that spot. And I was kind of deciding between maybe Henry and Adams. But yeah, I'm just kind of playing around this one to see what hunting running back looks like. And we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, bigz is in the same boat right now. He doesn't have a running back either. And what's your side on that, bigz? Is this just a kind of a trial thing for you to see how your team can land if you punt the running back position to kind of go against the grain? Because a lot of guys are going to be probably targeting running back early.
No, it's in this mock, running backs are being taken ahead of their ADP, so they're not falling. So that's a situation that if I get into it at the live draft in San Francisco, July 13th, go to scottfishbowl.com and register for 2015 now. Then it's just something that I'm practicing for. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes permanent.
Exactly. I like it.
I'm ready for anything to happen.
Right. All right. So now we're getting into the latter half of this sixth round, and it's coming up to me. I'm seeing the value here too. All these running backs, like bigz said, are getting clupped up before their ADP. So you see a lot of these wide receivers that are now falling into the hands, and I really like a couple double taps here at the wide receiver position, and there's, I'm good with probably any four of the ones on the queue at this turn. Amari Cooper just went. I'm really high on Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to be able to garner a lot of targets. I think that there's George Pickens. He was the next one. I probably should have went him before, but I still like Zay Flowers, so I'm going to pick him.
Right now, I have Zay Flowers, George Pickens, all both in the same tier.
Yeah,
and I was hoping one of them would fall, but they did not.
Yeah, I do as well.
I was hoping for Zay to fall to me as well, just to stack him with Lamar.
Yeah, that's that I really like that clump of receivers, and I'm okay waiting into this round here to kind of double up there. And now I'm gonna really have to start concentrating. I think a lot of us, start gobbling up some running back, but we'll have to see. It's gonna be interesting.
All right, you guys, I'm going to go away from type right now for the sake of content. Because this guy is not a value at this spot. I'm going to reach. He is, so right now I think my pick is 78, and he is going in the mock drafts. Let me see if I can find it. At 97. So I'm going
JJ.
almost 2 full rounds ahead just so I can talk about him.
Oh.
All right. I went with Rome Odunze. So Rashid Shaheed is the big steamer, to use Grindberg's term, which is a terrible, terrible term. Grindberg steamer is not good. And then Rome Odunze. Okay, so with the Scott Fish Bowl scoring this year, Scott Fish has decided to put a premium on return yards for those players that do both, get out on the field in the offensive scheme and also return. So, Braxton Berrios carries some value just because he can get some return points if he's the returner in Miami. But the guys that are going to do both, like Rashid Shaheed, he will be out there as a deep threat on the field when the Saints are trying to move the ball. He's also probably going to be returning kicks, and he gets the biggest boost. He could have finished, if we had Scott Fish scoring last year, what was he, wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, something like that. Well, reports came out today that Rome Odunze likely will be returning punts. So on top of what he can get out of that receiver room, he's also going to be getting some of the push from return yards. So that, in my mind, pushes his ADP up a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I
just
saw
wanted
that
to talk
report
about it.
today, and that was literally my first thought too. Was like, oh snap, fishbowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
huge.
that's where our brains are at right now.
Yeah, and anytime you hear a sniff of return yards like Greg Dortch, who is now getting some steam in the slot, he's probably going to get that starting role. And even if he doesn't return all the punts in the back, getting that extra yardage is just, he returns 30 punts a year and can get that slot role. That's a very valuable position in the Scott Fishbowl to get.
And you look at this. So we talk about tight end premium here. Alex waited till round 8 and still walked out in the Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was surprised about that. I did a mock last week, and I didn't take a tight end until like 11 or 12 because every time I had one queued up, gone, and I wasn't going to reach on one. So I'm really thrilled with Njoku. He's kind of like the last guy I feel good about in the first like 10 rounds or so.
Yeah. Yeah, I took him in a dynasty startup actually as a guy that just kept sliding and everybody was reaching on tight end and I was just like, I can't pay the price. I'm not going to move up to get him. And it's just the perfect kind of value. And Engram used to be in that kind of situation, but now people are steaming him up. He went in the 6th round in that dynasty startup and he went in the 3rd round in the fishbowl. Oh, sorry, the 2nd round in the fishbowl here in our startup. So people are really savvy now. It doesn't take long for people to really get on it. And I really like that Njoku slide. And you know what? Maybe at this stage, in a month from now, that won't be the case anymore. Njoku could probably slide up a round or two just because of what we're talking about right now. So
he's just one of these guys
You're
who
a
gets
son of a
bought
bitch,
in every year.
Schultzy.
because he took Zamir White, he took his guy.
Yeah.
We got a question in the chat. Do you think it's vital to get an elite tight end in Scott Fish this year? I'm going to say yes and no.
Absolutely.
I think when you're looking at the top, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. Huge advantage with the scoring. But if I don't get one of those top 6, 7s, I'm cool like pulling what Alex did.
Yeah, I agree. If you don't get one of the elite guys at the top and maybe value like an Njoku doesn't fall to where he did to me, I think you take your swing in like the double-digit rounds, just see if you can find that next breakout guy, the next Laporta, the next Trey McBride. Because like in a tournament like this, that if you hit on a guy,
This is a show that
it's going to be a huge difference maker. Sorry, go ahead.
This is a show that stands the Andrew Cooper, friend of the show, yin and yang tight end strategy, and also the RotoViz bully tight end. So what you want to do is make sure you have an elite tight end in the top 5, another guy that can get up to 100 targets, 90 targets or 10 touchdowns. And then by RotoViz bully, you want 3 guys out of that top 10. And so if you have to make it 2 guys that possibly can get the 90 or 10 to add to your elite guy, then go ahead and do that. But tight ends are premium for a reason. And shout out to Bears fan 193 or whatever who says punt tight ends. That cracked me up. Oh no!
All right, what's wrong? What happened, Biggs?
I do love some Freiermuth this year too.
Muth went way high. Absolutely, I was just about to. Damn it!
Yeah, well, sucks for you, huh?
I don't like this strategy anymore. Strategy sucks.
Well, yeah, you need to be on
I'm going to get my guys next time.
Well, yeah, you kind of need to look Schultzy. I don't think you're in bad shape now after your 2 running back turn there. I like where you're at there. You got Zeus, you got Jonathan Brooks, both got some upside now. Potential both starters there, and yeah, that could bolster your lineup when you look at what you got now at your core.
Yeah, I think when if you're gonna punt running back, kind of like I did, if I'm gonna snag who's gonna be getting carries, because that, I mean, what is it, a quarter point per carry? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
don't
mean,
need a
that's gonna
fucking
be a
running
big
back.
difference. You could be looking at starting running backs, even if they stink, are gonna get you 3, 4, 5 points a game.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right,
think of it in terms of like what I've been hammering about Zamir White. If he has 20 carries in a game, that's immediately 5 points. Immediately. That's not with adding the yards, the first downs, like any of the catches he might make in those 4 targets, a touchdown or 2. Like that's immediate. Like his baseline is 5 points.
Yeah, absolutely. I like his upside. I love what's going on here. So what's your strategy here, Alex, after seeing what your board looks like? There's some ADP value here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is a great value in the end of the 9th round.
Hmm.
I feel like he's still a target hog. I don't care that Calvin Ridley's there. He's still going to command targets, and if Will Levis hits, I mean, we could have another, top 15 season from DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm getting him as my wide receiver 5.
Hmm.
I don't love any of the running backs here, so I just can't do it.
So what's your outlook on Calvin Ridley there in that offense? Because both of them are kind of hitting that age cliff, and we're looking at an offense that DeAndre Hopkins obviously has that 1 year in familiarity, has that connection a little bit with Will Levis, and now they're bringing in Calvin Ridley, who is
Schultzy! God damn it!
Who cares about the Hawkinson snipe? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't going to come back to you, bigz. It's okay. It's okay, man.
It's
So
like
let's
he
talk
knows
about
who I like or something.
Ridley and Hop. So you're obviously higher on Hopkinson, on Hopkins, right?
Yeah, I like Hopkins better. I think he'll lead that team in targets. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out who to pick here.
Yeah.
I'm never good on the clock. I always panic. All right, what are we, 10th round? All right,
Yeah.
I think it's time to take a swing here.
Trey Benson. Yeah, that
Trey
guy.
Benson.
I like that.
Alex
I like
is
him a
the
lot.
OG Trey Benson guy. He
Right
has
on.
been Trey Benson RB1 in this class for a long time to Alex.
If this was a normal 22 rounder, he would have been a target of mine instead of Lad McConkey. I do love Lad McConkey, but I think for the back half of the season, James Conner is old.
Yeah.
Trey Benson is going to arrive at some point, and I'd like to bank on that happening this year.
Yeah, Trey Benson's going to start games for sure, whether it's due to injury or he just outperforms James Conner. I mean, James Conner's 29. He's never played more. He's played more than 13 games in a season one time in his entire career.
And I got burned last year too, so
that's going to be a great offense. And if Trey Benson has a stranglehold on top of that depth chart, at some point, second half of the year, he could be that guy that you want in the fantasy playoffs. That could become that league winner.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the athleticism. He's got the size. It's the whole package.
Love
There
that
it is.
sound.
of champions.
Oh, is it me? All right.
Hey, you're on the clock.
Let's do it for the content. Let's do it for the brand.
Treylon Burks.
He did not.
All right, tell us about your boy. We want to hear this.
Let's talk about this.
Take the spotlight. Take it on.
Right.
We want to hear it.
All right. So yesterday on Twitter, I posted a mystery player who could possibly be a sleeper in the Scott Fish Bowl. And I did. It was an outline of Treylon Burks. And the reason has nothing to do with target share in that offense or anything. It's that he has to play special teams this year. And I've watched him and his straight line speed, his ability to like miss guys in open space. When he was at Arkansas, he's going to be able to do it again on the at the NFL level. And he could be the sleeper kick returner this season. That's all I'm saying.
It's a fair point, but for the lulz, like I'm gonna just rag on you for it.
I can't quit Treylon.
You're getting lit up in our sleeper chat right now. Shia LaBeouf, he's just like, what? Burks?
Blue pig suey forever. I cannot quit Treylon. I can't do it. If he has one stan out there, it's me. It's gonna be me.
That's hilarious. We're gonna see the kickoff be way more impactful, especially with the dual returners. And yeah, this is gonna be such a crazy year because there's gonna be dudes that you're starting that like you don't even know.
I feel like it's
because you're gonna be bye week hell, injury hell, and the likelihood of one of those dudes racking up 7-8 points on a couple returns is probably better than you rolling out some wide receiver 4 on a team hoping he does something.
I almost won my 32 team Dynasty League last season because I had Jamal Agnew. Right? Like,
yeah.
Shit like that happens. So with my final pick, it is between 3 guys. And again, it's for the content. It's because of the kick return upside. Trey Tucker from Las Vegas, or 4 guys. Trey Tucker or Dylan Laube from Las Vegas. Malachi Washington from Miami. Or the guy that I'm going to take because I have to talk about him. So I'm going to get him. Xavier Gipson. We'll talk about him in a little bit.
All right. Like it.
Okay, I think the big question here is what the hell do we do with Taysom Hill?
Draft him.
All right, there you go. He said
heard it there from the man himself.
He's an H-back, Wildcat quarterback, tight end. Juwan Johnson is hurt. Juwan Johnson is not reliable. They have Foster Moreau, who has brick hands. I seen it. They got Dallin Holker, who is one of the most unathletic college tight end leaders in receptions and yards that we've ever seen. Taysom is the dude. There's no there's not really a whole lot of competition there, and he can do everything.
Do you think he gets some kick return run?
No.
Well,
that's the thing. We don't know because the new rules and everything. Maybe he's the ultimate kick returner in the NFL.
I mean, he could be. I mean, shit, they're like with the dual returner. I mean, I watched a decent amount of XFL because I'm a DFS degenerate.
Sure,
dude. The dudes are taking kickoffs regularly and they're returning them to midfield like often.
Yeah, that's something I might want to do is go research some UFL games just to kind of see how it all works.
Yeah, dude, grind some tape grind the UFL is what it's all about.
The only problem is that we don't know how the 53-man rosters are going to work themselves out. And I brought up on the show before, Rashid Shaheed was like he's going to have the biggest boost based on return points, but the kick return is usually reserved for a younger player who is working themselves into the offense or a much older player who that's all the value that they bring. So what is Rashid Shaheed going to like be in on every play now and not returning kicks because they have somebody younger that they're going to put in there? I mean, you don't know.
Hey, bigz, I got a question here from
roasted in the chat.
Did I? Nice.
We just got a question from Gunner from Gator, and he's asking me to ask you when Scott.
I can read, Mike. I was born in America.
Gunner point.
That's awesome.
Shout out Gator J for that one. That was a good chuckle thing. That was awesome. All right, let's remove that board. Okay, thanks, Schultzy. That's awesome. Now let's get into our guys in this draft that didn't get drafted that you think might have a big impact
What do you
in
mean
this
didn't get
Scott
drafted? I
Fishbowl.
thought we had to draft our spotlight.
No. Late round
Man,
guy
you
who
missed
didn't get
the
drafted
point.
in the mock. It was in the
Well, it's
So-
to be fair, nobody was drafting Gipson anyways.
well, let's talk to our guest, our guest of honor here, Alex. Who is a guy that we think or you think that our viewers should be having their eye on in the later rounds of this fishbowl that can be a late round steal that could be actually a league winner that's going to be, maybe the Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams type of guy that, next year people are going to be talking about lots.
All right. My motto of 2024 fantasy football is Kimani Vidal in every draft.
Yep.
Got to take Kimani Vidal in every draft.
You could ask you could ask Schultzy. I had him on the show sheet, but I erased him 3 times because I've talked about him so much.
We talk about him all the time.
I'm just like, I can't put him on here again because honestly, it's just going to be beating a drum down. But I love that call. Tell us why.
Yeah, when I first saw the show sheet, I saw him. I was like, damn, that's who I was going to pick. And then I went back to it and I saw he was gone. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I see it. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Chargers backfield, it's what?
Yeah, I know.
Gus Edwards, who, I mean, come on. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, who's coming off like multiple serious leg injuries year over year. I mean, he's a good running back, but what does he have left? And then Isaiah Spiller. I mean, come on. And I mean, Vidal, I know he came from a small school, but he's a small 5'8", but he's a big guy. He's 5'8", what, 215?
That's a thick boy.
He's a thick guy.
Yeah.
So he's got the size to be a workhorse. He's got athleticism. He doesn't go down easy. He just keeps his legs driving.
I like Schultzy.
Little bit like Blake Corum. I think Jim Harbaugh saw some Blake Corum and Kimani Vidal. Discount Blake Corum. So I think he's going to have a heavy workload in that offense. It might not be right away, but at some point, 6 weeks into the season, he ends up taking over that backfield. And in the Scott Fishbowl, you want these guys who are ascending, week 8, week 9, week 10, as we're heading into the playoffs. And I think Kimani Vidal could be that guy. And he was the 6th round pick, so there's also a chance he doesn't make the team. But I'm drafting him.
See, I disagree, and the only point that I disagree on is how long it's going to take. I think he's going to come out of the gate.
He could be, absolutely.
Gus Edwards, Gus Bus, love him. He's done J.K. Dobbins 2 blasted Achilles. Isaiah Spiller is not it. Kimani Vidal, he's got the elusiveness, he's got the speed, he's got the thickness. Like the dude he's wowing them already. And it's a Greg Roman offense. Somebody made a comment about one thing you can count on in a Greg Roman offense is they're going to have 5 running backs and cycle through them all. Not necessarily.
Yeah,
that's not when one guy is clearly the alpha, and
right.
That's going to be Vidal.
One thing for sure is he is going to be like a preseason darling. He's going to be one of these guys you want to play in like preseason DFS.
For sure. See, I was drafting him.
No one else to trot out there.
Right.
I was drafting him ahead of guys like Marshawn Lloyd and Jalen Wright in a lot of situations. Not always. There was a lot, depending on where my roster was setting, but there was a lot of instances where I was actually picking him as my 5th running back off the board. And just because of that upside that could be within that Charger Harbaugh offense that, we saw what he did with Blake Corum. We've seen what he did in the past with the 49ers offense. They're very run-centric, and we know that he loves his running backs. And there could be a very good spot for both Gus Edwards and Kimani Vidal to be very successful this year as well. So don't discount either of those guys. Now, I'm going to get into Schultzy now. Schultzy, who's your guy that we should be talking about late round, who's got a potential of, stealing the draft for folks?
I'm going really deep here into Tyrone Tracy. Running back, got drafted here out of Purdue, and last year he had 716 yards, 8 touchdowns. He had a pretty good season, but this is just a bad backfield, first of all. You're looking at Devin Singletary leading the way, I've been a fan of him because he's one of those dudes he's just good. Like he's not great at anything, but like he's just good. But what's just good for this young team trying to grow together? Behind him, what is it? I don't even remember. Eric Gray. Yeah. Eric Gray. They just pulled over a dude from the UFL. I mean, the competition here is slim to none. So you've got some opportunity for this guy to take carries. We talked about the carries. It's free points in the scoring. So I love the fact that you've got a guy this late with a chance to get some meaningful carries, but the cherry on top is he's been taking kick returns, which is going to be a super common theme, with these deep dive players. For me, is going to be taking shots at dudes who are gonna, maybe do some returning and two, have a shot at playing time. If you can fit both of those, I will draft your ass so fast late in this Scott Fish roll.
Yeah, your ass won't even know what happened.
No, absolutely not.
All right, Biggs, tell us what you got, buddy.
All right, so I'm going to call an audible. Omaha! I'm calling an audible, and I'm not going to go with Xavier Gipson because I drafted him, and the prompt was guys that weren't taken. Even though I wouldn't have taken him that early. So I'm going to go through the list. I'm going to read down the list, the player list of the guys that I would like to draft from now until round 22. Curtis Samuel. This is kind of like a graduation ceremony. Curtis Samuel. Oh, wait, no, sorry. It starts with Javonte Williams, Russell Wilson.
Do we have to wait to clap until you're totally done?
Yes.
Okay.
Javonte Williams, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, Brian Robinson. Come get up here, you guys. Blake Corum. Come get your Curtis Samuel. We tied him in a ribbon for you. Thank you. Condre Miller. Ben Sinnott. It won't stop. Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not reading in alphabetical order either. Okay, we practice that way.
Let's see. Keep going. Dang it. Kimani Vidal, Marvin Mims, Roshan Johnson, Wandale Robinson. That was a nice little bunch there. Sam Darnold. Sam Howell. Audric Estime, Braylon Allen, Greg Dortch, Dylan Laube.
I'm not quite sure how to say this. Dylan Laube?
Trey Tucker. One of those two guys. I mean, we're taking shot. Justin Tucker, Evan McPherson, Younghoe Koo, Jake Elliott.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Trey Lance.
Shakespeare couldn't have not even done that better.
Dicker the Kicker.
There you go.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys.
That's awesome.
And I'm not going to say Van Jefferson.
Yeah, that's great.
He spared us that one at least.
That's a road I don't want to go down again.
All right. So I'm going to talk about a guy that I think is going to come out, and he's going to come out flying. He's poised to probably be in a committee with Ezekiel Elliott, but I'm talking about Rico Dowdle, and he's shown promising metrics that suggest he could outperform his expectations. In 2023, he was 16th among 53 qualifying running backs in yards after contact per attempt and had 23rd lowest stuff rate. So he's got the ability to break tackles and avoid negative plays. He's got a really good, size. So I'm thinking he's going to be able to. What are you laughing at? You laughing at me?
I'm laughing at Gator. Arkansas Tech, baby, Division II.
Yeah.
Arkansas State.
I love it. So let's get back to Rico Dowdle, and I just think he's gonna, have a chance to emerge. He's gonna have a bigger workload than he did last year. I think Elliott is gonna dominate the goal line work initially, but I think Dowdle has a solid chance to earn more touches, especially if Elliott's effectiveness declines because of his age. Considering Tony Pollard's success after leaving Dallas, I think that Dowdle shares similarity, has good profiling opportunity, and I think he's just going to thrive in that offense. He's got an opportunity to get into some share there and thrive. So if he can outperform Zeke, he has an opportunity of becoming really big in that offense.
I think you're just kissing Matt Kelly's ass.
I do too. It's great.
I do too. At least he's owning it, man.
Yeah. I think he's gonna get more touches than Treylon Burks at minimum. So oh, Gator, you are on fire. We got to get Gator on this show the next time. So, Gator, you're invited onto our next Fishbowl mock draft as a guest because I think you'll be a hoot. So, if you're willing to come on, hit us up on our DMs. I know bigz and you get along really well, so let's get you on the show if you're willing.
Yeah, hit my DM on Sleeper or at BigBonedFFB on Twitter, and let's get you on the show, Gator.
Yeah, man. Alex, it's been an awesome time having you on our show. We thank you for like a full hour of your time. We really appreciate it. Midweek, I'm sure you got a lot on the plate, but it's always important to have you on. And you've given Schultzy a really good opportunity, and you got him on the platform here. And we really appreciate you finding him because he found us. And he's become a really integral part of our unit here. And you spotted the talent, and we appreciate that. So why don't you tell our viewers about yourself again, where to find all your stuff, and we appreciate having you on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. And Schultzy, I mean, he's great. It's been great to see what he's accomplishing right now. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, _JohnsonFF. Everything we're doing at yardsforfantasy.com. Subscribe to the Yards for Fantasy YouTube channel. Find the podcast feed as well. And yeah, appreciate you guys having me on.
And real quickly, I want to say, Gator, if you want to come on the show, you have to have a beard and glasses. The hat is optional.
We love it.
Or a Lee Corso Gator head. That'll be acceptable too.
Yeah.
Hey, bigz. Why don't
Not
you do
so
what
fast,
you do?
my friend.
Why don't you do what you do best, my buddy? Drink beer and sign us off.
I'm kidding. Thank you guys for watching the show. Like and subscribe. We'll be coming back at least once a week with live streaming Scott Fishbowl 14 mock drafts. And in fact, there is something in the works to have a Battle of the Sexes mock draft with Wendy early in the program. So look for that. We love you guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us on Twitter at BigBonedFFB, at FFConnect99, at Shu1C, SCHU1TZY. And we'll see you next week. We hope you win.
Hope you win, everybody.
Hope you win.